Some arguments are not meant to be won. They are meant to pull you in, to make you explain yourself, to make you defend your tone, to make you prove your point. But the Stoic notices something quiet. Walking away is not losing. Walking away is choosing. Choosing not to trade peace for pride. Choosing not to turn a moment into a wound. Sometimes the strongest response is not a response. It is leaving without words and keeping your dignity intact. Most people stay because they fear what leaving might suggest. They fear looking weak. They fear being misunderstood. They fear losing status. So they stay and speak. They keep explaining. They keep pushing. They keep trying to be seen as right. But the Stoic sees this as dependence. Dependence on winning. Dependence on approval. Dependence on the other person's reaction. Walking away breaks that dependence. It returns power inward, where it belongs. Not every conflict is real. Some are created by mood, by insecurity, by boredom, a careless comment, a subtle insult, a look that carries contempt. And suddenly the mind wants to react, to restore control, to protect the ego, to punish. But walking away reveals a different truth. Many conflicts survive only because someone keeps feeding them. When you leave, you remove the fuel, and what remains is silence. Often that silence shows how small the conflict was. The Stoic does not walk away because he cannot handle tension. He walks away because he understands what tension does to the mind. It narrows thought. It hardens the voice. It makes the moment feel larger than it is. Walking away gives the mind room again. It restores proportion. A person who stays in every argument is often not brave. He is often trapped. Trapped by pride, by the need to be seen, by the fear of being wrong. Walking away is the ability to step out of that trap without anger. There is a difference between strength and resistance. Resistance is often emotional. It grips the moment tightly. Strength is calm. It does not cling. The Stoic is not impressed by the idea of standing firm in every situation. Sometimes firmness is silence. Sometimes firmness is distance. Walking away is not collapse. It is restraint. It is the quiet ability to let the moment remain imperfect without trying to control it. Self-respect does not need every ending to feel victorious. When you walk away, you choose what you protect, not your image, not your pride, your clarity. You protect the part of you that should not be disturbed by every passing voice. Because most people do not attack the truth. They attack your composure. They want to see you break, to see you react. Walking away refuses to perform for them. It says without words, you do not own my mind. And what you cannot own, you cannot control. Some people argue as a form of power. They do not want understanding. They want dominance over your attention. They want you trapped in the exchange. The Stoic recognizes this and does not accept it. He does not try to correct everyone. He does not try to defend himself to everyone. Walking away is a boundary that requires no speech. It ends the conversation without escalation. It leaves the other person with their own noise, and it leaves you with your own peace. Walking away also reveals how much of speech is impulse. In the moment, the mind believes it must respond. It believes silence means defeat. But when you leave, you see how quickly the urge fades. The heat passes, the desire to win weakens, the need to prove disappears. This is a lesson without teaching. It shows the mind that many urges are temporary, and what is temporary does not deserve permanent damage. Walking away is the discipline of letting the temporary remain temporary. The Stoic does not avoid pain. He avoids unnecessary pain. There is pain that comes from life, loss, uncertainty, change. And there is pain that comes from ego, the need to be right, the need to be respected instantly, the need to settle every tension with words. Walking away separates these two kinds of pain. It refuses the second kind. It does not add suffering to what is already difficult. It does not build a second problem inside the first. That is wisdom, quiet and practical. Walking away is also a form of humility. It accepts that you cannot control how someone chooses to act. You cannot control their tone, their intent, their interpretation. You can only control what you carry away with you. If you stay, you may carry bitterness. If you leave calmly, you carry clarity. The Stoic knows that carrying clarity is more valuable than carrying the last word. The last word often belongs to ego. Silence belongs to discipline. In modern life, walking away is rare. People are trained to respond, to debate, to defend their position. Every platform rewards reaction. But the Stoic remembers that attention is life. Where you place it determines what you become. If you place your attention into every conflict, you become conflict. Walking away preserves attention for what deserves it, for work, for family, for the quiet work of the mind. This is not escape, it is selection. Walking away without words is a form of confidence that does not announce itself. It does not need to prove intelligence. It does not need to win the room. It trusts time. It trusts that character becomes visible through consistency, not through argument. The Stoic does not fear being temporarily misunderstood. He fears being dragged into something that alters his nature. He prefers to be quiet and remain himself than to speak and become someone else. Walking away protects identity, not the identity of reputation, the identity of inner order. Eventually, people notice what you do not engage with. They notice what fails to provoke you, what fails to pull you down. Not because you are above them, but because you are anchored. Walking away becomes a pattern, not a tactic, not a performance, a way of moving through life without constant friction. The Stoic is not trying to win a moment. He is trying to live without being owned by moments. And sometimes that means leaving quietly, before words create damage that cannot be undone. Walking away is not always easy. Sometimes silence feels unfinished. Sometimes the mind wants closure. Sometimes pride wants a final line. But the Stoic accepts that not everything ends cleanly. Some situations remain imperfect, and you can still leave them without carrying them. Not every conflict deserves your voice. Not every disrespect deserves your attention. Walking away without words is not emptiness. It is a quiet decision to remain whole and to let the rest fade behind you, still, unresolved and untouched.